Earlier this morning, we had 3 of our officers that were shot from the SWAT team. Our officers responded to the scene of a shooting in which 2 individuals were sitting in a vehicle. Both of them were shot. They identified the residence in which the gunfire originated. Based on that, officers got on scene, called detectives. We recognized the address. We were investigating an attempt murder and armed robbery that occurred a block away. We identified Michael Lathers, 31 from Kenner, in that attempt murder and armed robbery. Based on that information, our detectives obtained a search warrant for the residence in which the 2 individuals that were shot said the gunfire originated. We called our SWAT team out to execute the search warrant. The SWAT team was on scene. They tried to make contact with anybody in the residence. 2 hours into the search warrant and the SWAT role, they sent the robot in. The robot was immobilized. So 3 SWAT officers entered the residence to free up the robot. When they were freeing the robot up, they began receiving gunfire. One of the SWAT officers was able to return fire. The 3 officers that were shot, 2 of them have been released from the hospital. 1 of them is in stable condition in the hospital. Once the 3 SWAT officers were injured, we knew that we were going to need assistance. We contacted the sheriff's office, requested their SWAT team. They immediately responded on scene, and as they were exchanging from command from the Kenner SWAT team to Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, and I'll let the sheriff take it from here.
Yeah, earlier today, obviously, the Kenner policemen were fired upon, immobilizing 3 of them. They were evacuated over to University Hospital. Yeah, University Hospital earlier today. Our JPSO and state police helped it with that escort. We activated our SWAT team and took control of this scene itself. While we were replacing the remaining Kenner SWAT members, our SWAT team ended up taking fire into one of our Bearcats as we pulled up onto that front lawn. Probably, I don't know, maybe an hour or so later, same suspect came up with his rifle at that same location where one of our snipers was able to return fire on him and take him out at that point in time. He's been declared deceased at the scene. We are taking over the investigation, only with our use of force, but taking over the crime scene investigation for Kenner to help them out with that, along with our coroner's office and our crime scene, our homicide detectives. So they're all on scene processing that right now.
Can you tell me, what was the reason for the suspect shooting in the first place to those 2 people?
You know, I think as the captain said, I think they had a previous armed robbery and attempted murder from last week. He knew that they were looking for him. I think what happened this morning is some innocent people pulled up at the house. He thought it was police and fired upon them. They recognized the house being connected to him, thought it was him, and obviously he probably didn't want to go to jail from that standpoint. So when Kenner SWAT arrived on scene, fired at those Kenner officers and then later at our officers.
Captain, I noticed on the other side there was a car in the ditch. Is that the car from the 2 suspects that he actually shot at?
Correct. That was the initial shooting with the 2 individuals in the car. Actually, we believe they were either going to or coming from church. They just happened to stop there in front of that residence, and that's when they were shot.
What are the injuries of those 2 innocent bystanders that shot?
Both of those are in stable condition. They're still in the hospital.
Are we seeing this as a successful? Are we seeing this as a successful SWAT going in and everything?
I mean, look, you have 3 officers shot. I don't know what you classify as successful, right? I mean, at the outcome, obviously the suspect is deceased at this point in time, but that's certainly not our goal. We attempted to negotiate with him numerous times. We attempted to make contact. There was no answer by any means, nor did he ever try to negotiate with us SWAT officers. And it wasn't until he took the positions that he did that they fired upon him. So, I mean, depends on your classification as successful. We hope that this would never happen on any day, much less a Sunday, but it's the outcome that we have.
And then male or female for the officers, and where were they shot?
There was 3 male officers. One was shot all in the extremities. 2 of them were shot. One was shot in the arm, one was shot in the leg, and one received one in the stomach.
When those officers went in to dislodge that robot, did they know that the suspect was armed?
Well, we didn't have confirmation yet he was in the residence. That's what they do. They arrive on scene, secure the scene, the perimeter, and then they'll send in the robot to try to locate if anybody's in there. Once it was immobilized, they went in there to mobilize it so it can continue in the residence, but they started receiving fire.
And immobilized meaning like it got caught up?
It got caught up on something, correct.
Prior to the armed robbery incident, were there any other time that you all came to this house for maybe something else? We also heard that possibly this person may have been dealing with a few mental issues.
Michael Lathers has a prior conviction for armed robbery. He received a 10-year sentence for that. I believe he served probably 90% of that sentence. Why the armed robbery occurred, we're not sure. It was in close proximity. The victim and Michael Lathers knew each other. So we were able to identify him quickly. We located his vehicle, I believe, Thursday evening at an apartment complex in Metairie. However, we wasn't able to locate him. We have been trying to locate him since the initial shooting and armed robbery.
And then the two victims, were the male, female?
I believe there were 2 males.
The city has said that there was an issue with getting a media alert to all of the media outlets here, which isn't for the newspaper, but for the 4 TV stations here, we had trouble getting this information confirmed. Has that issue been resolved, and is there a release or photo that can be sent out of the suspect?
We're going to be doing a joint press release. The initial problems were, one, Chief Conley is out to stay. He had just landed in San Antonio when he was notified of the shooting. He took the first flight to come back. He won't be back to this evening. I was out the state when the initial incident happened, and it was a chaotic scene. Our secondary public information officer was the SWAT commander on scene, so that was the issue there.
Captain Cunningham, what has been that response? I know a lot of other fire and police departments reaching out to you guys right now in your time of meeting.
Well, right now we want to say that we had a great response from all law enforcement. JPSO was on scene immediately. We had St. John, St. Charles, State Police.
And all kind of task force and federal agencies here also, and NOPD handling security at UMC. So you had all kind of agencies that stepped up to make sure we had enough of what we needed here, which we certainly did. We just didn't know how long it was going to last.
Now, since we've been in here in this area for the last couple of hours, we did hear a few booms. Can you tell me what that was?
You would probably heard the bigger booms that you heard, those were flashbangs that we were utilizing after the suspect had been immobilized. Our SWAT team was doing what they call a +1 entry to check the rest of the residents. Although we didn't have any information that anybody else was inside, they still had to confirm that. And so those big, larger bangs were flashbangs utilized as our SWAT team making entry into it. And then you would have heard probably 6 or 7 shots from earlier of him shooting at our Bearcat, and then the shot from the sniper itself would have been all the bangs accounted for.
The flashbangs came after the sniper?
Yes, that's correct.
He
Yeah.
probably was down at that.
He definitely was down. We had confirmation of that. We were just doing a secondary search of the residence at that time.
And that sniper fired a single shot?
To be honest with you, I don't know that. They'll have to go through the debriefing.
By any chance, how many shots did he actually shot?
I don't know that for a fact yet. I mean, you're going to have numerous casings on scene from the initial encounter with Kenner police who've returned fire. Our crime scene will be documenting that. We'll be checking the weapons to see what's been fired, but I don't have an accurate number at this point in time. That they're just starting their work.
Any damage to the Bearcat?
I'm sure it's going to have some. I hadn't seen it because I hadn't moved off the scene, but I know it was hit. And I mean, I know that he was firing and hitting the Bearcat. So.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all. Appreciate it.